And welcome back to Washington Commanders Insider. Today we're talking about the Washington Commanders getting ready for the New York Giants. This is really the first initial look about this particular game coming up on Sunday, as the Washington Commanders will be on the road against the New York Giants. But let's start with the injury report. I think that is key because you see that the Washington Commanders have Brandon Coleman and then also Cornelius Lucas as well, two offensive linemen that certainly the Washington Commanders are going to need. I think that this is going to be a physical contest. It is a divisional matchup. And I think that when it comes down to divisional matchups across the NFL, I think that these games usually are a bit more tougher. And so I think that this is going to be something that the Commanders are absolutely going to need. I think the run game is going to be very valuable in this game. And I think that Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler, Jeremy McNichols, you have Jaden Daniels. I think that they are all going to play a factor as far as running the football. Not sure what the weather is looking like thus far, but I would have to think that the Commanders are going to look to run the football. And so hopefully we will get them back. Brandon Coleman, he missed with a concussion. Cornelius Lucas, hopefully he comes back off this questionable tag. But those are two key injuries for the Washington Commanders so far going into this Giants game. Next up for the Giants and looking at their injury report, it starts with Tyrone Tracy Jr. I think that, he has been pretty huge for the Giants. I know that there's not really, a replacement, I think, for Saquon Barkley. But, I think he's played well. Being a rookie coming out here, I think he's been a good source of offense for this team. And I think he stepped in well for Devin Singletary while he's out. He's certainly proven that he can be a starter. And like right now, he has 376 yards on the year. He has a 5.2 average as well. And he's got 2 touchdowns. And so he is definitely finding a way to get to the end zone. But right now, you see him on the injury report. Looks like it might be a concussion. And so he's obviously got to clear the concussion protocol before he is able to go. And so we'll definitely be looking to see what that final injury report is going to be. But, Daniel Jones certainly relies on him a lot. And, he does have Devin Singletary that could be ready to go ahead and step in. He's got 63 carries, 250 yards, and 4 yards a carry right now. And he also has 2 touchdowns. And so Devin Singletary has been in some big moments in the NFL. I think that Tyrone Tracy Jr. has obviously had the better season due to Devin Singletary's injuries. But, this Giants team really struggles if they are one-dimensional. And this could be the situation for the Commanders here. I think that the drop-off in the yard is definitely going to help the Commanders, certainly. But the Commanders have got to make sure that they stop this running game, especially if Tyrone Tracy Jr. is not playing. And so taking away that and then making Daniel Jones really be a passer here. So I know that Daniel Jones has been extremely comfortable versus the Washington Commanders and his tenure really at quarterback, but he's really struggled throughout this season. I think I'd read something earlier where the Giants were even thinking about possibly maybe benching him, or at least that was out there that maybe they were looking to go with perhaps Drew Luck instead of him. And so it looks like they are going to go with Daniel Jones right now on the year. Daniel Jones has 174 completions, 278 attempts, 62.6 percentage here, 6.1 average. He's over 1,000 right now as far as yards are concerned. But the touchdowns, the interceptions, 6 touchdowns, 5 INTs, and 25 sacks. So this is something that the Washington Commanders defense has got to take advantage of. You really want to force Daniel Jones into just making some throws where he's uncomfortable. I think that once that pocket starts to collapse, you start to really get to chase him and make him throw into some tighter windows. I think that this is going to be an opportunity for the Washington Commanders defense to really step up, because I think that they've been hot. I know that, that last game was a challenge there, and it looked pretty tough because it looked like the Bears had gone down the field and got the score that they needed. But ultimately, the offense was able to take care of business there. And look, the defense has played stellar. That they keep the Bears to 15 points. Hopefully, they can build upon that performance against the Giants. I think that there is a real possibility to do so. One of the bigger, I think, stories of the last game where the Giants took on the Commanders was Malik Neighbors. I think that Malik Neighbors had quite a day. Right now, he's having a pretty good season. He's got 498 yards. He's got 10.8 averages on his catches, 3 touchdowns as well. And he had quite the day against the Commanders. Can they take him away? And with Daniel Jones and his struggles right now. And so I like what Mike Sandra still and some of these corners are starting to do back there. They've got, I think, a real taste of what to do now that they've started to turn the football over. And now it's just the question of, can the Washington Commanders really, I think, just go out here and now win a game that they're supposed to win. All right, because that is what you have to do when you're a team. You're trying to rise up. You're trying to get to the next level. You have to get off of this emotional high that you've had now from that Hail Mary victory. And you've got to find a way to now go out there and get focused for this game. So hopefully they are in the moment. They're not, somewhere back there in last weekend's game against the Bears. You have to focus on this Giants team because you cannot go in there and underestimate this team. You have to be ready to go. And so that is why I think that you're going to see a player like Brian Robinson Jr. You're going to see a player like Austin Eckler, Jeremy McNichols. I think even Jaden Daniels, if he's ready to go as far as running the football, which it looks like he looked pretty good in last game. I would expect for the Commanders to really dig in on this run game and try to establish that. I think that you have to be physical. You've got to go out there and set the tone. That's something that the Commanders are going to want to do, set the tone in the trenches. And it starts with the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, look, if they don't have Tyrone Tracy Jr., defensively, you've got to make sure that these Giants are one-dimensional and they are relying on the pass game. I think that we're heating up in that aspect. Hopefully we can get some turnovers, maybe convert those into some scores, but at least flip the field. And so that's what I'm looking to see in this next game against the Giants. I want to see just how much more this defense has evolved, because I think that is one of the things that, if you listen to the media out there, they're wondering, can this team, really take that next jump? And I think a lot of that focus has been around the defense. And I personally think the defense is starting to heat up. I do. Even though we've had some injuries, even though we got some defensive tackles and things out, I think that they're really starting to find their way. They're really starting to trust Dan Quinn and the process. And, just our defensive coordinator is really putting some things together. So let me know in the comments what you're thinking out there. Do you think that the Washington Commanders are going to be best served attacking the Giants on the ground? Do you feel like, no, we should go ahead and let Jaden Daniels kind of open it up? I kind of think that running the football is going to be the best. But anyhow, let me know in the comments what you think. This is the first look at the Washington Commanders versus the New York Giants. We'll be talking a little bit more in depth with the stats and all that stuff like that as the week goes along. So this is Rico. This is Washington Commanders Insider, and I will see you on the next one. All right, peace.